If we could go back 5 years and give ourselves one piece of advice, it would be this: start saying no. No to more. No to the launches that steal your weekends. No to the ideas that pull you off your track. Say no to the things that look good on paper but lead nowhere. In this video, I'm going to show you the 7 no's that are behind our 7-figure 20-hour-a-week business. And by the end, you're going to know exactly which no's you need to start saying in your own business too. Number 1 is no single-use plastics. You see, we started teaching workshops back in 2020. These are mini workshops, so short paid live trainings that became the backbone of our business. But in the early days, every mini workshop felt like, well, starting from scratch. New sales page, new branding, new copy. It was a lot of work. And yes, they worked. People bought, people upgraded. But every time we wanted to connect with our audience, it meant rebuilding everything from the ground up. That's the cost of single-use plastics or single-use assets. They burn time and energy you can't get back. And when you do it over and over again, even something as powerful as a live training starts to feel exhausting. So here's something to think about. How many things in your business are you creating from scratch every time? What if those one and done assets could actually become repeatable machines? And that's what we changed. Instead of reinventing the wheel every month, we just duplicated. Same sales page, same checkout. We just update the copy, and that simple shift has helped us sell thousands of workshop tickets just in the last 12 months without any stress. And even better, we now get to connect with our audience every single month. And because we removed the operational burden, we show up more present, more energized, and more consistent. We used to think everything needed its own custom brand, its own vibe. Now we just use the same template for every workshop. The magic is in the delivery, not the packaging. But even when we solved that, there was a bigger issue. Everything we built still pointed in different directions. No, number 2, no fragmented funnels. Back when we were selling copy templates, we had this awesome idea. What if we just made a full-on template shop? So we did. We spun up a separate Shopify site, and it was awesome, and it worked. The shop made more than 6 figures in the first year alone. But here's the reality. It never went anywhere. People bought the templates, and then they vanished. They weren't being nurtured. There was no upsell. There was no journey. It didn't lead anywhere. It was a one-stop shop with no map out. Ever look at your business and realize you're selling things that don't actually lead anywhere, or you're creating things that don't actually lead anywhere? Well, that was us. So we shut it down. We pulled everything back out of Shopify, put everything back into our one platform, Kajabi, and now every product we release points to our core offer, our repeatable revenue operating system. That's a clear customer journey and no dead ends. We come to call this now all roads lead to Rome, which Rome being our core offer. If something doesn't lead there, we don't do it. That alignment gave us momentum, but to protect our energy, we had to go deeper, all the way to how we respond to pressure. No, number 3, no emergencies. You see, in our past businesses, especially our client-based ones, we learned the hard way what happens when you build a business around other people's panic. Client doesn't prep. Cool. Now you're working late. Client doesn't send you feedback. Cool. Now your weekend's blown. There's nothing more frustrated than getting an after hours message that pulls you back into work mode when you want to be hanging out with your family. What would your business feel like if you truly believed there were no emergencies? With Wake Up to Freedom, we decided from day one that there were no emergencies. We work Monday through Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are off. Thursdays at 3 p.m., our support inbox gets an autoresponder that says, "We got your message, we'll get back on Monday." And here's the beautiful thing. It's never been a problem. Not once. Because when you communicate your boundaries clearly, the right people respect them. You attract clients who also want calm themselves. But even with no emergencies, there was still one habit that was stealing our time. No, number 4, which is our no launch Mondays. This one took us a while to catch. At the time, launching on a Monday kind of made sense. You start the week with fresh energy. But we kept noticing we really never took off the weekends, even mentally, because launch prep would creep in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And by Monday morning, we were already exhausted just from thinking about all the things we had to do. What's the cost of launching on Monday if it steals the 3 days of mental space before? So we changed the rule. Simple. No launch Mondays. Now everything launches on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. That gives us all of Monday to finish the prep and the whole weekend to actually rest. Our business is calm, our launches are calm, and way better when we show up for them. Well, we're excited, we're energized. Now, we don't really do big launches in the first place, but even when we release a new workshop or a new asset and we're making it available, we show up with a lot of energy and excitement, and we're not stressed. Once our time was protected, we started noticing a deeper shift: the industry's obsession with chasing more. No, number 5, no to more and yes to closer. There was a time when we were obsessed with more. We had a membership that pulled in over 100K a month in recurring revenue. It felt like we had won the game, but here's the reality: it didn't feel like we were winning. That membership took over our lives. We were always on. It brought us money, sure, but it also pulled us further away from freedom. There were so many moving parts, so many support layers that even during the hours where we weren't supposed to be working, our brains, again, were still spinning. The question to ask yourself is, are you optimizing for more, or are you optimizing for closer? Closer to your values, closer to your ideal life, closer to why you started your business in the first place. Now, this concept of closer over more is from our pal, Dan Nicholson, from his book, Rigging the Game. We chose closer. So what did it mean? We shut down our membership and built the repeatable revenue operating system instead. Now, guess what? Our revenue floor is back to what it was, but our lives, well, radically better. Fewer hours, way more freedom, and we're finally building around what we value, not just what sells. But even with all that in place, we still had to protect ourselves from ourselves. No, number 6, no shiny objects. Here's a challenge for you. Open your Google Drive or your Canva, your downloads folder. What do you see? Chances are you've got half-finished courses, unused lead magnets, brilliant ideas that just fizzled. We all have that digital graveyard, not because we're lazy, but because we say yes way too often. We chase excitement, but excitement isn't what builds freedom. Rhythm is. And we're not immune to it either. We've had our fair share of unfinished projects, mini workshops that we didn't sell, sales campaigns that we only used once or even then, even new product lines. And every one of those took time away from the thing that actually moved the needle for us. The question for you is, what if every one of those half-finished ideas became one really good thing? That's the backbone of our business, our repeatable revenue. We do the same 4 things every single month. We stack, we refine, we repeat. And sure, on paper, it's a little boring, but boring is what gives us bandwidth. Predictability gives us freedom. That's how we work 20 hours a week and still are bringing in the revenue we want to make, because the system is the strategy. And that brings us to the last no, the one that holds it all together. No, number 7, no to each other. A couple years ago, we were hosting our first in-person retreat in Joshua Tree. We shared a killer idea with everyone. The group loved it. We were hyped. The only thing was, it would have been expensive to make. Fast forward to today with no code tools, we could build this in a couple of months. Heck, the domain name even came up recently for renewal. Well, Michelle in our company Slack dropped it in and said, hey, should I renew this? And Sarah almost instantly said no. And that was it. No drama, no what ifs, just no. Who in your business has the authority to tell you no? Even when you're excited and you've got that rush of dopamine to say, this is going to be awesome. Well, that saved us because, yeah, it was a good idea, but it didn't lead to Rome. It wasn't closer. It was just shiny. And thanks to that no, we stayed on track. And that's what having someone you can tag in and ask gives you: checks and balances that keep the main thing the main thing. Now, we've learned that ideas aren't scarce. Time and energy are. So saying no to each other is how we keep those resources focused on what actually matters. These no's aren't about saying less or doing less. They're about protecting what matters most. They're the reason we're still here today with a calm 7-figure business that we actually enjoy running week after week. So the question for you is, which no do you need to say next? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to go deeper, check out our video on our repeatable revenue operating system below. That's where this all connects.